Today we're going to be talking a little bit about a game that has blown my mind, Satisfactory. It's a game I've been watching ever since they started talking about it at E3, and it has just been amazing. Every bit of it. I played the alpha, I'm playing the early access now, and everything has just been fantastic. This game is just beautiful, and it's everything that I wanted it to be. You land in this drop pod on this alien planet. You get to pick a couple different maps, and you open this door, and it's just beautiful. And the video's not going to do it justice because it's not 1080p 60 frames per second or anything, but my goodness, you can just see the lush green everywhere, mountains, like it's just crazy. And even just the sound, the music that they have in the game is just it's phenomenal. And so you're set with this task to just build and to just venture out from scratch, basically. The only thing that the game gives you is your little Omni tool that you use to build and destroy things, and you destroy your little pod that you drop in, and it gives you some parts, and then you're off to find some natural resources to actually start building. I guess they gave you a melee tool and stuff too, because you will find alien life while you're walking around, and some of them are just mind-boggling, and they look really cool and beautiful, and then they start killing you, and you have no idea what's going on. There's others that are harmless. There was this little guy, the lizard doggo. He looks like a little shrimp dog, and you can pet him, but I had a poor experience with him, but that's besides the point. Other than that, there's some other hostile creatures, a couple you'll see in the video, and they're not really that threatening. They can be, especially later in the game, but I'm glad that they put them in there. But essentially, you find some iron and some copper, and you can finally build your base, the hub, which is the base of all of your creations. It's how you communicate with the people up above, the Fix-It Incorporated employees that are in space still. But basically, you set off and you start in tiers, and in your first tier, it's really basic stuff that you can craft by hand, and you use that to upgrade your hub, and you have to fully upgrade your hub in order to start making some of the really, really cool stuff. And so once you start upgrading your hub, there's newer and more complicated things that it requires. And as you start building stuff, you start to find better ways to be more efficient. That's pretty much the basis of this entire game, is just to be efficient and figuring out how things work and how to make them work best. But one of my favorite parts when we started was you have this little portable miner. Before, you have to mine by hand, but you get this little robot, and it's really the only thing that has personality, and I'm kind of sad that more things didn't do that. But you drop him down, and he starts growing legs, and he starts mining everything for you, and he's kind of cute, actually. But he's really your first real piece of machinery that really helps you and gets your ore faster. Eventually, as you start to work up in your tiers, you start to get things like that actual automated miner, which is a giant, huge machine with a giant drill with a conveyor belt outlet, that you can transfer all of the materials into wherever you're building. But the thing is that everything needs power, which I'm really glad that they incorporated this power mechanic, because you have to maintain your power grid. So you got power. You got your resource nodes, you got your miners, so now you don't want to be crafting by hand the entire time. This game's all about progress, so you can build these things called constructors, which essentially will automate your construction, if that makes sense. I gotta say that once you put those conveyor belts down into all of those different machines and you start to see things moving along the conveyor, it was actually a really, really cool feeling. It actually helps later down the line, because you can see if a conveyor belt's full, how fast the objects are moving through the conveyor, and everything else. And it's just a really cool idea. And the one of the really cool things about these sandbox games is that they give you freedom to do whatever you want. So if you want to make this giant spread out factory with all these conveyor belts going from here and there and up and around and twisting and all kinds of crazy stuff. We like to call it the spaghetti factory, which is that's pretty much what mine ended up being. Or if you're a little bit more organized, or you got some OCD going on like I do, then you can contain everything inside of a building, inside of a factory, and go from there. So it really gives you the option to build however you want, and the building is very intuitive. It works how you would expect it to work. There's not a bunch of crazy snapping issues with things not lining up correctly. There's not a whole lot of crazy bugs with things not being able to work how you want them to work, which is wonderful. That's one of the greatest things, and even in the alpha, it was fantastic. Which I do want to stress that this game's alpha was smoother and more fun than some of the AAA titles that I've been playing lately, and that's sad. That's really sad. So I have high hopes for this game, and I'm looking forward to the new patches and everything that's coming out. But it's one of those games where I can see myself playing for a very long time, because I did get a little burnout on it, but I played 36 hours in a weekend, so obviously I'm gonna get a little burnout on it. But as they add newer tiers, then you can come back and you can upgrade your equipment and play, put some real time in, and then when you're waiting for some new tiers and stuff to come out, you can go and play other things, which is something that my lifestyle drastically needs, because I can't play multiple games at one time, and this game really allows me to do that, because you can jump in and out as you wish. And so another thing that I wanted to talk about was there's no diminishing returns in this game, which means when you place something down and you make a mistake, you decide you don't want it, you can destroy that structure or conveyor belt or splitter or whatever it is, and you get all of your materials back from when you placed it down, which makes the game feel really, 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 really smooth, because you're not getting punished for making a mistake. Too many times in other games, you have to save up an absurd amount of materials or money or whatever it is, and you place it down, and once you do, you're stuck. That's what you get, and you're ruined. And if that was in this game, it would make it really hard to continue to save up for some of the really, really big things, and it makes the game feel really, really good. But so that's another thing. But eventually, you get to this point where you have huge, and I'm talking huge constructs, these things that just take up so much space. One of my favorite things was at the very beginning, I created the space elevator, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's an elevator to space, and that thing is massive, and it's building, and you can see all of the different parts flying up to build this thing, and it was really, really cool, and I hope to see some pretty insane builds like that in the future as well. But once you get your factory built and you have conveyor belts running everywhere, I actually put catwalks up on top of my my little factory so I could run around and look at it. But it's you started from scratch, you progressed this far, and you have conveyor belts running everywhere. And the way that I did it is all of my things came out of one building and into storage containers so that I could see the finished product, because even though I enjoyed watching the spaghetti factory work with all the conveyor belts running everywhere, I like the clean look of just one building with conveyors coming out and going into storage containers. But anyways, that's all the time I have today. I hope you guys liked this video. I'm going to be doing a little bit more, probably with some more kind of review type stuff. I have some footage for a bunch of different things that I'd like to be pushing out, but all in due time. So we will talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.